Hello Guardians, it is Ebontis here. This is the Witch Queen launch trailer. Theoretically the last one. They've had a ton of promotion for this so far. And the other piece is, if you are watching this on YouTube right now, I'm likely streaming over on twitch.tv/Ebontis, waiting for the Season of the Lost story event likely to happen. Is it going to happen? I'm literally 50-50 at this point, but there's a big speculation that it is going to happen. So come join me on Twitch to watch that one in case you're not playing it yourself. But this is the Witch Queen trailer. I'm going to go through and play, and then I'm going to kind of pause where we get to. Chat's kind of helped me narrow some stuff down. I'll go back and forth in a couple frames, but you should be able to see most of it. So here we go. So this is the shot we've previously seen. Savathun, she's got her crown, seems to be in her throne world. This is one of the scenes where she is literally raising her hive with the light. So this is a little later on, and the point of reference of time is important, and you'll see why here in a second.
Hello, old friend. I've chased you for a long time.
Now, that is a very different look for Savathun, and the big thing to note is chat kind of confirms this one. They described Fundament, which is where the proto-hive came from. It was where the three hive sisters made their kind of agreement with the worm gods and all of this type of stuff that went on. And you'll see a few pieces that explain that. But this is Savathun before she is in her current state. Whether this is her weakened state where she still played tricks, I don't quite know what level this is. This could be before she had the pact with the worm. So this could be very, very old and ancient hive that we're dealing with in this cinematic, which is honestly cool, because if they throw these type of cinematics in the game, if we get to see this type of history for Savathun, kind of the way we got to see a little history for Aramis, even more so I'll be excited, because this is such a long built-up villain that we've got.
Savathun, the Witch Queen. She infiltrated the Vanguard, weakening us from within.
So again, this looks more like the older hive for sure, because you can see her holding her worm. This might be where the pact was made with the worm gods. The worms, of course, grow in power and strength as they feed them their death and destruction, but they have to keep feeding them, otherwise the worm will consume them, which is always a bit of an issue. But this is definitely a different look. So obviously no crown, different time, Fundament in the deep and all of this type of stuff. There's a lot of cool lore that's going on in here.
Stealing our most sacred resource.
Now that's a question I've got. Now, is that like the Traveler from long, long ago? Was the Traveler near the hive? I'm not entirely sure. That is a lore piece that I would have to get a little help on, but generally that looks like the Traveler. Looks kind of like an interesting little symbol on it too, but I don't know if the Traveler was near the hive upon their kind of inception with the worm gods, maybe left, saw the darkness, spying, I don't know, but looks like the Traveler to me. These are what we've seen before. So if you played in the expansion, not Curse of Osiris, in Warmind, one of the strike bosses we fought looked exactly like this. This is one of the worm gods. This is kind of what they grow up into. You know, Zal literally was able to travel through an entire planet. It was so big. So in theory, we know Oryx has killed its worm god. Oryx has killed the worm god Akka, I think. And then Zal is the one we killed on the moon, on Mars. So that's 2 down. So theoretically, there are 3 left, which makes sense. There's 3 in this image. I forget the names offhand. Somebody will know, but if you look them up, you'll see all the names of them. I am digging this armor. I like the look of it. It's unique. You got like the metal plates in a couple places. It does go a little Hannibal Lecter with, like, you know, the grates on the eyes and stuff, but I'm still digging the armor, the alchemy and stuff like that. Not for everybody, but I like it because if you got dark, a little bit of like almost like bright, kind of not quite chrome, but like polished nickel, and then the little green accents, for me, that's just the color scheme I like, is black and green. So I'm biased, but I like it.
The light.
So this is obviously the shot of Savathun. Now, I don't know if this is what we're going to see at the end of Season of the Lost, if this is an opening, if this is a piece of a Witch Queen mission. Not entirely sure, but obviously she's well infused with the light here. Now, I got to go back and frame this. So we know the whole point of this current season is to try and excise the worm from Savathun, and then theoretically, Savathun will not be bound to the worm anymore. That's what we're trying to do. There's a worm sitting on the table in front of Zavala, so did that work? Theoretically, but also if it worked, somehow Savathun also got the light. Somehow, at least in her throne world, she has it. Maybe we're trying to keep it there. But there's a worm sitting on the table. Where there was a cinematic where Zavala or Ikora's like carrying something and nobody could quite tell what it was. Kind of wondering if it was a worm. Seems to be confirmed it is a worm. Zavala is not too thrilled that this is here, so let me go back a couple frames so you can hear him talk.
How do we stop this?
Now, this is kind of a similar shot that we've seen before. So you've got Saint, Anna, the Guardian. You've got Shax. Saladin's probably out of frame. A lot of people here. The one that I don't know about is Mara Sov. I don't know if she's going to make it into Witch Queen because she's the only one we really haven't seen much of. I hope she does because you've got her and Crow and some interactions, but it's the one that I keep not seeing in these. I know Mara Sov theoretically wants to kill Savathun. Maybe the tables get turned. We'll have to see. Maybe we'll get to see today.
Stop this.
So again, you got 3 different Guardians, Titan, Warlock, Hunter. You got Eris and Ikora, obviously hanging out here. This is our little like portal on Mars to kind of get to the throne world, it seems like. That looks like Savathun's ship. Very cool looking ship, very unique. Still got a little more of the brighter coloring than a lot of the Hive with the darkness, so you can see even the ship itself a little lighter in coloring. But this is like our Mars kind of touch point to get into the throne world. We're not going to have a full destination of Mars to explore. This is going to be like, picture Sanctuary on the moon, kind of like a little landing zone, and then we're probably going to go to the throne world from it, I think. So again, you can see the Thrall, the different look, all of the little bony structure, and also the new guns, Osteostriga is Bone Witch. It's what that translates to, roughly. So all the little bone protrusions between the shoulders, the chest, the ribs, down the neckline, all of those are the look of the Hive that we've seen from the Lucent Brood and everything else. So this is definitely on Savathun's throne world. This is what she is kind of twisting her Hive to be a little bit. This is typically where we get to land. This is what it looks like is a landing zone when you get the little, you know, teleportation landing animation for the first time. This is theoretically where we're going to land on the throne world, in the swamps, not near her palace, probably in the dark area, working our way through the darkness section of her mind to get to the light section of her mind. Mara was in one of the 20-second teasers. That is true. Somebody in chat is telling me that. So theoretically, she's still there, but I just haven't seen her much is all. So I'm hoping Mara stays around is all. I just haven't seen her much in these cinematics, but she was in one of the little teasers. So this is a cool shot of the throne world where you can see kind of the distinction between the camera's almost back here in the swampy area of the darkness part, and then you can see the very light, you know, light infused, very bright architecture. Still looks like Hive if you picture like the Scarlet Keep, but then you've got a very bright structure, a little bit of light colored, you know, the red plants, her big palace and bowl in the background. Huge distinction, and just the split down the middle of this when you go from dark to light is going to be a big theme I think we're going to be playing with.
Welcome back, oh honored guest.
I just got to give props to the Bungie team on that little section right there. I'll play it one more time when they go in like horror mode. For one, the sounds, if they lean into like they did with Presage with a horror movie, alien vibes, this time with a big monster energy, and then what we're shooting at in the dark. I just love this section, so I'm going to play it one more time, just for me. Okay, so you can see you've actually got a shot coming in here. That looks like the Pocket Singularity, potentially. That's the new Warlock melee. It's got a little extra potency on it, so I don't know if that's a volatile explosion, what's going on with the Void, but it does look like that's kind of what's happening there, at least. Or a grenade combined with it. That is the deep sight power, so they talk about that in the... that look is the deep sight power. We're getting that from the darkness, so we can see the realistic... We can see what's really in the throne world as opposed to what Savathun wants us to see. So we're pairing again with the darkness, getting a darkness power of deep sight, which is a little scary. So we'll have to see how that pans out. Couple good frames here I do want to pause on. So again, we have a little bit more of a voidish area, but just like purple coloring running through this area. This shot. So this seems This is the area when I call it the underbelly. Obviously, you're in kind of an underworld situation. You've got multiple bridges to travel through. You have literally fire and lava underneath and kind of in the backdrop of this area. Looks very much like the Lord of the Rings Dwarf City kind of situation, but this is kind of more hive-based. You've still got hive structures down here, but it definitely feels like it's underground and very far away from the light palace of Savathûn herself. Looks like a vortex sword running down a... Is that like a worm tunnel in theory? Because that's one of those things. The big... That's a skeleton, kind of? And is that like a worm skeleton? Not entirely sure. So there you can see that's the new Hunter Glaive, because that's going to be the one that's electrified with the chain lightning effect we've got going on. That is the new Stasis wall for the Titan that you can see, because it looks like he's also got his exotic glaive on his back. But the new... Yeah, by the way, Agriceptor, I know I may have missed it in one of my videos. Agriceptor is going to be very powerful to pair with Stasis Fun, because it's getting like that 50% minor, or 40% minor buff. But this is the Stasis wall. When you put it up, it freezes. It'll slow anything that gets near it. You've still got the Rally Barricade bonuses. This thing is going to be strong. And this is the Parasite Launcher, so you get a bit of a tease of it. You got one in the magazine, and you can see it's kind of got the huge, same coloring. This is the Worm Launcher, and apparently it's big. That's a large explosion. That's the new, I think that's the new Cabal missile launcher, like slug launcher that charges the full missile barrage. Now, this guy looks like a boss. And also in chat, they did just confirmed the ending mission will launch today. So in about 90 minutes, as I'm in the middle of recording this, at server reset time, 9 a.m. Pacific time, Season of the Lost ending mission is going to happen. So as soon as I'm done recording this, I'm going to upload it, and then we'll be streaming and waiting for basically the new mission to drop. Now, this is that big guy. So... we haven't seen a hive guy quite this large, except for the Darkblade, which has a very similar helmet. That was a strike in Taken King. And it's also the guys that would run around and try and smash you in the Haunted Forest. The size of the axe, the scale of the actual knight himself is massive. And then when you go forward a little bit, you see that he's shooting this like big arc shots. You can see the bowl, the scale of the Guardians, but the size of the knight. This is either a mission boss, this is a strike boss, combination of both. The dude is huge. Like War Priest, some people are saying is this large. This is massive boss scale guy here. Now, save that thought about a pyramid. We get a better shot in a minute, but we know the pyramid is what's going to house the raid in the swamp, and we also know the raid itself is going to, among the swamps of Savathûn's throne world, you can see where they are, lies a sunken pyramid, as you can see. Alongside your fire team, venture inward and confront the ancient danger imprisoned within. Could it be her worm? Could it be an old, very old boss? But yeah, looks damaged, looks wounded to some kind. You can see Scorn, definitely kind of a bit of a new armor on the Scorn as well. Now this shot, which is kind of hard to see because it's not the most like high detail, but you've got the hive, I'm going to get this wrong, Acolyte, that is the, basically like a blade barrage. You've got the hive wizard that seems like the Stormcaller, and the hive knight looks like a sentinel. So you can see the hive, lucent brood, hive guardians with all their powers right here in one shot. Solar versus solar, void versus void, arc versus arc. And that's Big Boss Guy. Again, this is that shot. Very unique structure of the helm of the actual knight itself. Definitely one of those boss helms. I always like that look. It used to actually be a helm that you could kill the boss and then wear the helm as a hat, and that would be your helm. I missed that because you could have a Titan with a Darkblade helm. Looked really cool. Now, I gotta pause this for a second too. Nope, go back a little farther. There. So you can see Savathun also has access to Solar. She is probably going to have access to all three, I would imagine, because she's the one infusing or giving the light to all of her followers. Big thing to know is that she already has Void Nova Bombs, we've seen, and then it looks like when you get a little later in this one, you can see that's a Solar Knife right up there. So she's either going to have the Blade Barrage feel, probably that one I would imagine. I don't think she would be pulling out a Golden Gun, but the knives seem to be what the Hives have embraced. So... and then this shot. That is your raid landing scene right here. You know the little scene where all 6 Guardians pop in and they give you the little cinematic look? This is it. And this is the raid, and it looks like we're going down in here into this little kind of busted open doorway. But yeah, the raid theoretically is going to take place in that. And my hunch is that we're not going to fight Savathun because it says an ancient evil. So that kind of references, while she's old, there's older stuff. And also, this either it's going to be some darkness, moon. I don't honestly know. I'm just hoping 2 things. One, that we don't kill Savathun in the campaign, that there's something that occurs that we're able to either come to a truce or something. We will have to see. But then also, we've actually got a very cool boss in the raid that ties into the story. I'm hoping we get both. We will have to see, but I'm hoping we get Savathun that lives on and has some kind of story throughout the year, or something more than just a strike boss killing, but also somehow how that story ties into the ancient evil that maybe she's trying to get away from, and then that's us trying to go kill it. Hopefully, cross your fingers, it's cool.
Just don't say I didn't warn you.
Great acting there. That's Deborah Wilson playing the Witch Queen, and that is basically it. So if you guys enjoyed this one, come join me on twitch.tv/Ebontis. We got confirmation the mission is going to drop in just a little while. So we will see what happens with the end of Season of the Lost and how we are going to go into Witch Queen. If you guys find me on here, hit that subscribe button, hit the alert bell, drop a like if you enjoyed it, leave a comment if you got any questions, and I will see you guys either in chat or in the next video. Have a good one.